Hi, I'm Jasmine Ellis.
And I'm Jonathan Scott.
And I'm Tony Hill.
And you're watching Sports Plus. Hi, I'm Jasmine Ellis, and joining me I have Jonathan Scott and Tony Hill, and we're going to be talking about the Dallas Cowboys. So let's just go ahead and get into it. Let's talk about what happened. It wasn't pretty. It was downright ugly. How would you describe the game?
Well, I'll tell you what, Jasmine, I think most people would think I'd come on in here and kind of bash the Cowboys based on their performance. And rightfully, Romo's performance was not very good at all. But when you look at the Dallas Cowboys, you look at a team that was down 28-0 at halftime and it gave up 0 points the second half, there's some promising things about that. Murray had 22 carries for 118 yards. Romo did well considering the circumstances, considering the 3 turnovers, but the team was able to move the ball and they were efficient. You look at the defense did outstanding. Now, I say outstanding, you got a quarterback in terms of Kaepernick, who's probably the most athletic player on the field during this game, who made a heck of a throw to Vernon Davis to catch a touchdown. To shut this team out the second half, there's got to be a lot of positive things. Now, Jonathan, you saw something entirely different from me. Yeah. What's your perspective in terms of the Cowboys?
Well, being an offensive lineman myself, I realized that you can't start in a rut. The first play was a false start. Those things are momentum killers, and it sets the tone for the game. Those things, it leads to detrimental things down the line, and you can see it. And then in the same aspect, they fumbled a couple of plays later, and San Francisco took it to the house. So. Focus is one of the main things that I saw that there was a lack of. Execution just wasn't there. You saw a lot of things with Romo forcing, doing too much, not allowing for the play to make a play, if that makes sense.
Well, on the flip side, I made a comment about the Cowboys. There is promise for the Cowboys, but on the flip side, you've got to look at Romo. Romo's performance has got to improve. You've got to remain consistent, and unfortunately, he's been consistent. He's been consistently throwing the ball, making terrible decisions during crunch time. And this tenure of his career, that's got to change. We as fans, we want to see production. We're paying Romo big bucks to produce. This guy's actually sitting in with the coaches, helping designing the offense. So when it comes to making plays, you got to be able to do that. One great example is that when Dez Bryant was running a shallow cross, that means when the wide receiver comes underneath and is in his zone defense, he's running a shallow cross, and Romo follows him all the way across the field, and he throws the ball, they make an interception, take it about 65 yards back. You can't do that, especially with a veteran quarterback.
Exactly. And then just to mention, when you're in those situations where you're getting out of the pocket, I saw specifically when Murray just stood there. You gotta convert your offense to break those shallow routes, get into those voids, because the quarterback's running for his life. And then with San Francisco defensive line, there's some tenacious players. It just wasn't good execution.
Well, Jazz, one other thing as we talk though, we talk about the Cowboys going into this game. One thing that we did know is that there was no defensive line, and our defensive line has not performed even as of today. However, our linebackers stood up, and they stepped up in a big way. Now, they're green and they're young, but you got to give them credit. Durant had 8 tackles, McClain had 8 tackles, Crowder had 6 tackles and a sack, and that's real productive. Our secondary did pretty good because Antoine Bolden, this guy plays the slot. When you got 3 dynamic wide receivers on the outside, you've got Crabtree, you got Vernon Davis, and you got Bolton in the inside. That's kind of a tough trio to match up with. Considering that Bolton had 9 catches, they did a pretty good job containing the rest of the receivers. And as I said, they shut them down in the second half. So there's a lot of promise for the Dallas Cowboys if we can get Tony Romo on the same page.
And back to Romo, because, a lot of people put a lot of pressure on his shoulders. And we do know that he had a back injury last season. Do you think that's maybe affecting his game now?
Well, the thing about it is, you gotta, playing the game, you play with injuries. I've had numerous broken fingers, broken shoulder, ribs. You got to play with that, and that's what you kind of sign up for. If it's an issue, it needs to be addressed. I personally don't think it should be a cop-out.
Well, I think what could be unfortunate, I seem to contradict myself over and over in this segment here, but are we seeing the Romo of today, or will we see the Romo of the past? Unfortunately, sports is for youth, and when you had several back surgeries and you don't move the same way you moved, and I looked at Romo, he's not the guy getting ready to just take off anytime he gets an opportunity. This may be the new Romo. Can he perform at a high level as a new Romo, just being a backup, being a pocket quarterback? I think that's the big issue today.
Yeah, I think it can definitely be done. You look at some of the great athletes in the game. Jordan, I mean, at the beginning of his career, he was in the lane. Once he created that jumper and created different aspects of his game, he became the Jordan of today. So there is a possibility that Romo can become the Romo that we all hope and believe he can be, but only takes time and work ethic.
That's an interesting comparison, Romo to Jordan. I don't think too many people are
Well,
like, dang
I
it,
mean,
Jordan.
I think what it is
it didn't go week by week like
I
that.
mean,
Like-
well, I think about it is that if you aspire to be great, it can happen, and it's up to Romo to do that.
You know, I'm surprised at you because you weren't saying all that at Henry's. What did you say? He looked cuddly, like he wasn't ready to play.
Well,
like,
he has a sense of warm popularity type of vibe to him. He doesn't really strike me as the eye of the tiger type of player,
Tony
but
Romo.
that's just a personal opinion. But you know, what am I? I'm not a quarterback, so.
so too friendly to be a quarterback, maybe lacking that drive. Do you think that's possible?
I mean, look at the eyes of some of the great quarterbacks now. You look at Brady; he has that eye of the tiger. You look at John Elway. You look at Troy Aikman; he had that eye of winning, that desire. I look at things differently outside the spectrum of just X's and O's. It's that extra seasoning, if you will, that makes a championship team.
Well, that's a big point. I think John says there's some substance in his comment. I think, one thing when you look for a quarterback, you look for leadership, and that's always been the downside of Tony Romo. They say he's always been too passive. He's not been the guy that kind of leads by example. He's not the guy that's been very vocal out there, and he's trying that, but perhaps that's just not his makeup. But on any successful ball club, you've got to be able to have a leader, and that's got to be him in this particular case. Jason Witten is that other leader, but right now Romo's that guy. I was encouraged by the play of Cole Beasley. I think he's really emerging as a ball player in that ball club. I mean, playing that slot position, you got a kid who's got, and I don't want to compare him to Wes Walker because I know Cole personally. I think he's a better athlete than him, and I think if they use him more, you might find more success. Des Bryant, without a question, he's a beast. This kid can play, and he's got to be your go-to receiver. But you got to spread that salt a little, spread it around. You got to put it all over your steak, just not in one place, in order for it to taste good. And that's what's going to have to happen with him.
Oh, wow. Well, you definitely are the expert on this. Leading your season, 9 out of 10 seasons, leading your team in receiving. You know what you're talking about. And it's always great to talk to you about this. Always fun to talk Cowboys on Sports Plus. And you can find us at Henry's Tavern doing more with the Cowboys and more in Dallas. Look for us, sportsplusshow.com.
All right, we're here at Henry's Tavern in Plano, Texas for Sports Plus. I'm joined by my beautiful co-host, Jenn Reed, and Nicole Jesse from Henry's Tavern. And here we are tonight. This is one of our favorite places, and we were here with the Drew Pearson Show. We're so happy to return. Tell us what's new. What should we have to eat? What should we have to drink?
Well, our happy hours are awesome all the time. We do a California sushi roll during happy hour. Our gorgonzola fries are what we are known for, and we have 108 drafts on tap.
That's a lot of beer.
It is a lot of beer. It's changing every single day.
Do you get some sort of medal if you try all of them?
Not yet. We're working on that
We
for
need
the
like
fall.
a picture on the wall or something. Like,
Yeah,
I would actually come to try that and actually be like, can I just have every single one of your beers?
Well, we'll see if you can still stand to get your picture taken if you have 108.
I'll have somebody hold me up.
Actually, she
Yeah.
just wants her picture on the wall. So can we arrange that?
That sounds about
I
right.
just bring my drinking pants. Okay?
Now, what's this I hear about a wing challenge? That sounds deadly.
It is going to be pretty deadly. Opening game for the Cowboys is September the 7th. We're going to be doing a wear your Cowboys jersey, eat unlimited wings for 99 cents during the game. During halftime, we're going to do a hot wing challenge. We're going to have 10 contestants. You are going to be given 5 wings to start with. If you make it through those first 5 wings, you'll continue to eat for the next 3 minutes to see who eats the most.
Wow. Now, how hard are these wings if you only expect people to get through 5 of them?
Extremely hot.
Habanero and all the...
It says it's 1,000 times hotter than the habanero.
Wow.
It's an extract that we had to get sent over and you had to sign a consent for.
Is there like some sort of like consent form that a person has to actually have that if they get sick or anything happens to them, they have to...
Yes, all 10 contestants will have to sign a release form.
Wow. I think I need to sign a release form just hearing about it.
It's making you sweat.
I know,
No, I'm
it's
like-
a little hot.
mean, is there like a certain time frame they have to eat them in, or is it just over a certain amount of,
It's going to be a 3-minute time frame. We have an extinguisher emergency kit in case they're not going to be able to make it. It's quite fun.
Good.
Wow.
Now, this is for the first Cowboys game, right?
It is for the first Cowboys game.
Good. And will this continue as long as no one dies or gets hurt?
The wing challenge is going to be for the first game. The winner of that is going to receive a $50 credit for each Cowboys game to come to Henry's to hang out with their friends.
Okay. So then why is this the best place to watch the Cowboys game?
Every Cowboys game, we're going to have giveaways all throughout the game. We have 108 beers on draft. I mean, how is it not the best place to watch the game?
right?
Are you giving away former Cowboys?
Am I giving away what?
There may be a few out there that might be willing to do this.
Well, he might want to come on the show next week and see what we can auction him off.
You should, yeah, sure.
Good. Well, in fact, later on in the show, we're going to have the great Tony the Thrill Hill joining us. So who else would you like to see on the Cowboys, past or present, that we should bring out here to Henry's Tavern?
That's a hard one.
It is a hard one.
So like maybe Troy Aikman or something like that, or like
Troy Aikman would be a good choice.
Emmett Smith is like one of my favorites, I think, probably.
Only if Emmett brings Pat.
Now,
She's
Pat was here with us.
she's so
last
pretty.
year.
Like I was like, can you stop being so pretty right now? Like you're like Trump. You're like taking over the show. You're beautiful. And she's so sweet.
She is very sweet.
So.
Well, we'd be very happy to have Pat Smith back with us, and maybe she'll bring him at this time. And maybe he might even do the Hot Wing Challenge.
That would
You
be
think?
awesome.
All right. Are you going to try the Hot Wing Challenge?
I love spicy food, so I can probably try it, and I might have to cover my face as it like starts bleeding, but I will try it.
You know, I see this as sort of like an ice bucket challenge, only
No,
the
yeah.
Hot Wing Challenge.
We could
Because
turn it into
this
that.
comes with a waiver, and you could just watch people's face get more red and red.
And I'm that kind of person that doesn't want to look like I'm actually in pain, so I'm going to be like just sweating and just like, I'm good, I'm fine. Do you need anything? Yeah, no, I don't, I'm good. So, I
Well,
won't
it
let
sounds
you-
like fun.
It will be.
Okay, so what should we order tonight? Because, sometimes we come here and we start seeing all the food go by and the drinks, and, you get a little hungry.
The All-American burger is amazing, and also the haystack burger.
And
Well-
the gorgonzola fries.
Definitely.
I dream about those fries all the time.
She has strange dreams, so, and they often include French fries.
Right.
These are not just
I think
ordinary
I
fries.
probably need some kind of help, probably some sort of like counseling for that, but it's okay.
Well, we're very, very excited about being here tonight. Thank you so much for having us back. And Sports Plus is going to be here all season, so come and join us. Henry's Tavern right here in Plano, Texas. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, welcome to Sports Plus. I'm Paul Salfen, and we are here at Henry's Tavern in Plano, and I am so honored to be here with Tony the Thrill Hill and Jonathan Scott. So thank you so much for being with us tonight. Now, it's great to be around you guys. I know you got the Super Bowl ring just shining in the light over here. I kind of feel a little bit out of place right now, but I wanted to make sure that we introduce you guys over here to everyone. And Tony, I know there's so many Cowboys fans out here. Tony the Thrill Hill. And I got to know what you're doing right now. Everybody here wants to know.
Well, Paul, I've been really fortunate, really blessed. I have an opportunity. I broadcast with a company called Compass Media Networks. I do the National Game of the Week. I oversee all the special events for the city of Allen as well. And I just enjoy life. Life is good. Being a Dallas Cowboy, sporting my Super Bowl ring, hanging out with Paul, hanging out with Jonathan, hanging out with the girls. That's what it's all about. Life is good.
Yeah, life is indeed good. And how about you, Jonathan?
Well, me and a young,
Don't go there. Don't go there. That young
ambitious
He's
guy.
been beating me up
I'm
with
doing
his young stuff over there.
A little bit of everything, but no. Right now, I'm putting a lot of focus on my foundation, the Scott Family Foundation. I just recently started a media company, and just doing things to infuse music with the things I love, football. So just living life.
Yeah. Well, now I wanted to learn a little bit more about your foundation, because over dinner we got the chance to talk about it. I think it's something that our viewers would really, really want to know about. So I know that you're able to serve a lot of kids and help out a lot of people with this.
Yeah, what it is the Scott Family Foundation, and what we do is serve. Well, we put emphasis in the underserved, and a lot of the young youth in where I'm from, Dallas, Texas. We do all sorts of things of teaching leadership, teaching education, showing them different avenues of life other than the typical everything that they may see on TV. But one of the things we do is just try to inspire young youth, try to uplift our community, and we're doing that with the Scott Family Foundation. So we just started off with Train Like a Pro, and what it is, it's a camp for high school kids learning how to play the game of football, and it's specializing in offensive line play, because me being an offensive line player and playing all the way since I was in middle school, I felt it'd be a great idea to do a camp that's a little bit different. What's different about it is that we do a on the field application, as well as in the classroom, where it comes to studying our opponent, learning how to break down film, all those different aspects that are necessary for being an offensive lineman, and that's why we call it Train Like a Pro. So we got some great things going on with the Scott Family Foundation, that being one of them.
That's good. Well, I know we're looking forward to hearing a lot more about that soon, and I think we're actually going to have a video that we can take a look at. But first of all, I know that we're right in the middle of the beginning of a great football season. Well, great for some teams. I got to know, as former players, and I know you guys are going to talk about this at the Greg Ellis studio in Addison, but how hard is it to watch your former teams?
Well, I don't know. Well, for me, it's bittersweet. One, I get to sit back and be a fan, and then on top of that, I get to look at it in a different light. The world is ever revolving, and it's just what it is. What it is. I knew going in that I couldn't play forever, and I was never naive to that. But don't get me wrong, I love the game. We're looking at the game now, and there's a few guys that I can put a little beating on, but that's just the offensive line play in me. But I've always loved the game, but just got to keep moving.
Yeah. Well, I bet it's a little bit tough for you sometimes.
Well, Paul, it's real difficult for me. Jonathan's a big boy, and he's got all these close ties. He's relatively young, so he's fresh with the game. I've been removed for a while, so I'm pretty much what you call your worst armchair quarterback, because I bleed silver and blue. When the Cowboys don't win, I'm blue, and so when we're throwing bad passes and we're not collecting fumbles and the defense is not playing well and Jason's not making good calls, then it touches my heart, because again, this Super Bowl ring, we try to brag a little bit, and I relive my life through the Dallas Cowboys. So again, we, as a former player, and I think all former players have that alliance. Jonathan with University of Texas, Tony with Stanford University. I bleed silver and blue. If you hit me real deep in my brain, in my veins, you're gonna get some of that cardinal red. So that's where I'm at.
I like it. Now, I know we always ask a lot of the celebrities their Hail Mary moment. So a lot of great actors and musicians have been on the show, and we've been able to ask them the moment that they just kind of had to go for it and it worked out for them. So what do you suppose that was for you?
My Hail Mary moment?
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna have to go back in a little bit of time.
Not that far, though. You got to go a few years away,
But for me, it was definitely at the University of Texas when we won the national championship. It's a little bit more cinematic for me.
Yeah.
I remember it was third quarter, and it was a TV timeout, and we were down by a touchdown, and I remember we was in the huddle, and Vince Young and David Thomas, our tight end, he's like, "Look, guys, we're gonna win this game." And so at that moment, we kind of looked at each other, and everybody had that look in their eye, like, "Yeah, you're right, we're gonna win this game." And at that moment, it was like I looked up in the stands, and it was flickering lights. It was like pure pandemonium. And sure enough, after the TV timeout, snapped the ball, boom, touchdown. And then after that point, our momentum came, and next thing you know, you can see the the moment when Vince Young broke out the pocket, ran to the side of the end zone, touchdown. That was my Hail Mary moment.
Yeah.
Now, it's not the typical Hail Mary moment, but it was one of a kind for me.
Oh, no, I like it. How about for you?
Well, mine's a little bit different. I don't have a Hail Mary moment. I've got a Thrill Hill moment.
I like
so
it.
there's a distinct difference. I'm kind of living in another area, so to speak. But in college, I wasn't as fortunate as Jonathan to go to the national championship. For that matter, I wasn't even fortunate enough to go to a bowl game. When I was at Stanford, we were in a situation, and if we didn't go to the Rose Bowl, we didn't go to any bowls because they were during finals. And Stanford at that time didn't do it. Of course, they've changed over the years, and this younger generation has that opportunity. But my biggest thrill, number one, was obviously going to the Super Bowl and achieving this ring. But number two was the opportunity to play with Roger Staubach. Roger was my idol. I wore number 12 when I was in high school. I tried to emulate him in any way that I can. And we had a chance to play, and I'm not going to say what year it was, since Jonathan's sitting here, but I'm going to say it was back in the day. We were playing the Washington Redskins.
Yeah.
And it was one of the most famous comebacks in Cowboy history where I caught the final pass in the game for the touchdown. What makes it so bittersweet is the fact that Roger has one version and I have one version. And since I'm here, I told Roger I'd be open, just throw me the ball, and that's what happened. We won't talk about the rest, all right?
Fair enough.
I like it. And we're back on Sports Plus. I am now joined by my beautiful co-host, Jenn Reed.
What about you, though? You're pretty beautiful yourself.
I don't know. You might want to get your vision checked. We always love to talk about movies, and you know what? We should go to more movies together.
We really need to. I mean, it's about time.
All right. Well, you know what? We're going to go get a big bucket of popcorn, some big sodas, and we're going to watch a movie called When the Game Stands Tall. And I know there are a lot of sports fans watching the show, so of course this movie is perfect for them. It's kind of an inspirational story about a high school football team who has the longest winning streak ever. Now, we got a chance to talk to the director, Thomas Carter, and he's been
done
around.
A lot of awesome
he's done
films,
so many amazing things. So he's an Emmy Award winner, and he goes back. He directed the pilot of Miami Vice, which is really, really cool. And he's done a bunch of films throughout the way, including Coach Carter.
Right.
And big sports fan.
He kind of has a whole different genre. It's like different little, it's pretty cool.
And he's a Texas native, so we love that.
Of course.
Yeah.
Texas pride.
Exactly. And this movie, it's safe to take the family to. It's a feel-good film. And hey, of course the team wins at the end of sorts.
It's always about a team, and then winning and the inspiration behind it. It's timeless.
Well, and right now it's kind of getting a second wind in its release because there are a lot of former athletes coming out and saying, "Hey, this is a good film. This is an inspirational film, and it's a nice movie."
That's really good.
Yeah.
I love that.
So we're going to recommend When the Game Stands Tall. Let's take a look right now.
This is such a cool movie, so inspiring, and what a wonderful story. I know you had to be attracted to the project immediately when they asked you to do it.
Well, I was attracted to it for those reasons. I found it to be an inspiring story as well. I thought it was a great opportunity for me to shoot some great football and do some things maybe that I hadn't seen before. And I was touched by the story of Bob Laddister and the De La Salle Spartans. It's a high school team that's won 151 games straight, 12 years of winning, and so you want to know what's behind that. Why are they winning? And I thought, hey, this would be great to tell that story.
And why can't the Cowboys do that?
Well, the way the Spartans do it is that there's no real ego allowed on the team. There's no great individualism. There are individual players who do really well, but they're doing it in service of the team. There's a real brotherhood between the players. There's a real camaraderie. There's a sense of personal accountability that's engendered in these young players. And they're willing to open up. I mean, Bob sort of asked them to open up and share with each other. They share their feelings. They do commitment cards where they actually write out what their commitment's going to be for conditioning, for practice, and for the games, and they hand that card to another player, and they're held accountable to meet the commitment. There's no punishment, but they're held accountable just on their own honor to do that. So those are the kinds of things, besides the X's and O's, that makes them a great championship team. And I think any pro team can take those principles as they will.
Yeah. Well, and this is not a traditional a leading man / coach or a traditional ending either, which has also got to be kind of fun for you.
Well, it is. I mean, we didn't want to do a movie that was just, okay, are they going to win the final game? I mean, that's been done a lot. The movies after some higher notion of theme, those things that I talked about a few moments ago, how are they proven out? Have the kids really learned that? Are they really buying into it? You know, do they embody those principles? That's what the movie sort of wants to ask. You know, not are they going to win necessarily or lose. You know, the movie does have that element in it. I think more in the middle of the movie, there are great challenges about, you know, winning and what goes into that. You know, and so I find that people are on the edge of their seat, sort of wanting to know that, and that's the thrill of sport. But the overall theme of the movie is something much bigger.
Now, we always ask people their Hail Mary moment, the moment where they just kind of had to go for it professionally, and it worked out for them. What do you suppose that was for you?
I always think that I wish I had sort of started making films, you know, earlier in my career, and I wish I had done that. So my first movie was Swing Kids, and I made a movie that I made in the Czech Republic that was set in Germany in 1939. About German kids who like swing music, and so it was sort of a risky thing to do, but I loved the elements of it, this kind of storytelling and use of music that I like. So just jumping into film and embracing it, and you know, I've had a good run of making films that mostly I liked doing. So that's been thrilling.
Well, and especially since you've had such an amazing TV career and an Emmy-winning TV career with Hill Street Blues, St. Elsewhere, got Miami Vice, like all the greats. That must have been a great time.
No, I've been very fortunate. You know, I've won 3 Emmys. I mean, 2 as a director, 1 as a producer, and that's gratifying. But it's really the shows. I got to work on some good shows. I mean, doing the pilot for Miami Vice was really gratifying. Working on Hill Street Blues was really life-changing and career-changing, and just teaching me how to do this job so much better. You know, I did a miniseries called A Year in the Life with friends of mine, great writing, and so it's so often about the writing. You know, it's about the stories that you're telling, and if I get good actors and good stories, I always say that's 80% of directing.
Yeah. Well, last thing is, since we're excited about this film, we want to know what you have coming up.
Well, I'm working on a movie now that's in the dance arena, because I still like that too. I did Save the Last Dance as well, and I still like that genre. But you know, I'm always interested in doing exciting character-driven stories, whatever they are in, whether it's in sport, whether it's in, you know, whether it's a love story, whether it's a thriller. That's what interests me, and that's what I'm looking to do. But you know, I have to say, great fun doing football. And hopefully we've got some scenes that people haven't seen before, the kind of football they haven't seen before. The movie's coming out on August 22nd. I hope people go see it.
Good. Last thing, who's your team?
Okay, the Cowboys are my first team. I have to say they are. I grew up in Texas, and I grew up with the Cowboys. I laughed and I cried with the Cowboys. I'm also, to be honest, a Green Bay Packer fan after that, which is a weird combination because the Packers made me cry as a kid watching those games, you know, the Ice Bowl and all that stuff. But yeah, listen, I'm still pulling for the Cowboys, and I hope they have a great season this year.
Good, me too. All right, thank you so much.
Well, how about that? Are we going to get to go see that?
Absolutely. I would love to see that movie. I mean,
Good.
Yes. Let's go.
Yes.
Popcorn and
It's a
milk
date.
duds, and we're good to go.
It's a date right here on Sports Plus. We're going to go see When the Game Stands Tall, and we recommend that you do as well. And in fact, you know what? We'll bring Tony the Thrill Hill with us. Why not, right?
Why not?
He can tell us what's wrong with it, or maybe what's right with it.
Right.
All right, good. We'll be back with more on Sports Plus next.